Hey everyone, I'm Brian.
And I'm Lauren.
Thanks for joining us here for the Dogwood Media Solutions podcast, where on this week's episode, we're going to talk about all the things that we want to highlight that have happened at Dogwood in the past year.
Along with some company highlights and all the fun stuff that we've done this year.
All right, we're talking about our year in review this week on the Dogwood podcast, and Lauren and I are both getting to be in here together once again.
Yeah, not interviewing anybody, just talking.
Having a discussion.
I know, how cool.
I know, we got all kinds of fun things to review about this year too, because it's been a very full year for Dogwood.
Yeah, for sure.
We always talk about Dogwood years. It's kind of like dog years, you know? Like 7 years equals 1 year in Dogwood. So you've been here for 35 years now, Lauren.
Wow. Yeah, it kind of feels like it.
You've got your 5th year coming up this next year in 2024. So
yeah, in April.
Yeah, longest tenured employee other than myself. But,
right.
But, you know, since I was kind of here at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And but you were very much so. But we could talk about that on another podcast. We're talking about the year in review this year. And so we had a lot of great things that happened at Dogwood this year.
Yeah, it's been a busy one.
Well, let's talk about social media.
Social media. Yeah, we've done some awesome stuff this year in social media. So one of the reasons that I kind of like pitched this idea to Brian was every year at the end of the year, he kind of sends out a message to everybody kind of saying like, hey guys, this is the stuff we've done this year. Like, it's been awesome. Let's, strive to do even better next year. And I just thought it'd be cool to talk about those things. So this morning I was going through and getting some stats together and trying to just look at the things that have happened this year. And we still have like 2 weeks left in the year. So these numbers are not final. So Brian's message will still be very cool to see at the end of the year. But so in social media this year, we have gotten 17 million impressions amongst all of our clients. That's insane.
That's a pretty good amount of clients.
Yeah.
And we didn't write down how many clients it is, but I'm not sure exactly the number on that one for what we manage, but it's around like 17 to 20 or something like that. So we're roughly estimating about 1 million impressions per client on average with all their content. And for most of these clients, if they're a regional client, that's a huge number. Our nationwide clients, of course, end up bringing those numbers up a little bit too because they have a bigger reach.
Right.
But still, 17 million impressions for our little agency here in Montgomery, Alabama, Pike Road, Alabama, to generate is a pretty big number.
Right, yeah, that's a lot. And just for those of you who don't know, impressions is the number of times that someone saw your content on social media. So that's a lot of eyes on people's content, which is awesome.
That was always a fun thing for me when because I've managed one account this year just for fun because it was a fun account for me.
Yeah,
with my kids being involved in the
that
Pike
one
Road
brought
Slaves.
in a lot of these stats.
Oh, I know, we had a lot of fun, but it was so we managed Pike Road football, which is my son plays on the football team. My daughter's a cheerleader. I wanted to do this for fun, but that one we had a lot of fun with it this year. I mean, it took a lot of time out of our schedule also too, but not everyone was always happy about that. I would like to add, but it was a lot of fun though, and it made for a interesting year, and we learned a lot of things too out of that account. I feel like also too, not necessarily things that always apply to everyone, but just things that were fun and. But anyway, where was I going with that one? I was going to talk about impressions. Yes, so I would talk about when I sent it to Coach Shook, I would send him his monthly report and be able to go, yes, this month you had 700 and something thousand impressions. Coach Shook, there's only 10,000 people that live in Pike Road.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
And so
for
that's your
town.
audience is 10,000 people in Pike Road. And to be able to generate 70 times that amount of impressions means that Pike Road was getting saturated with Pike Road football this year.
Right.
Because of the work we had done for them. So
yeah, well, and it's also cool to see how different types of content do. You know, I mean, obviously we want all of our clients' stuff to go well and to do well, but sometimes there's just some content that's more fun than others, you know?
And this has been a fun one.
Football's fun.
It is, and it's a season, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because it's a very stressful time, truthfully, because there's so much stuff happening with the football program, and it's definitely not our typical client by any means. But it's been a fun one, though. But it did kind of roll into the engagement part, too, which is ultimately what we really want people to do.
Right.
Is to engage in, what's that number on there?
Yeah, this year so far, we've gotten about 1 million engagements.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's comments, likes, shares, all those different things all rolled into one. People that have actually touched our content, our 17 million impressions generated into 1 million engagements, which is was that roughly about 6 to 7% of the people, which is that's also huge because I think the typical stat is around 2 to 3%.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're happy if we see about 2%. So that's really good.
And to be able to get that 6 to 7, wow. How many followers have we gained this year?
13,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's big. I feel like that's one that people don't notice as much because, each month we send out our reports and you might have 10 here, 20 there, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the year, when you go back and show your clients, hey, you gained 300 followers this year, that's big. So that number, I think, gets overlooked in our monthly reports. But when you see it on a yearly scale.
And of course, it's a percentage also, too, because if you had 10,000 followers, only gained 300, that's not as big. But if you have 10,000 followers and gain 3,000,
right,
that's humongous. And so we've had several of those that were like that have gained thousands of followers at this point. I want to say we have one of our accounts that was, was it about, I think 3,000 and it's going to hit 5,000 people. So, I mean, that's pretty big numbers there.
Yeah.
And it just continues to go. We still got 2 more weeks. So
right, yeah. Hoping to kind of boost those a little bit over the next couple of weeks.
One of our most frequent guests we've had on the podcast this year has been Beth. And talking about SEO and everything. And she manages a pretty good portfolio of clients right now. And some of these clients are also social media clients too, but these ones are specifically taking on social. I can't say blah blah blah. I'm just like going. I hope Mark edits that out. He's not going to though.
No, he won't. No. Search engine optimization.
Thank you. But she's got 13 clients that had significant increases in rankings.
Yeah,
and that means showing up on first page of Google, or at least moving them up the rankings in Google. That's a big task to do, and Beth's the master of it.
Oh yeah, she's so good,
and it's paying off in the way she's getting recognized also now too by a lot of these national publications, and they're publishing the things and the tips that she's sharing, which is pretty cool to see that, because when you go search her out now, you can actually go and see all these other publications that are taking the words that our little Beth is saying,
right, and
republishing it and saying these are the things you need to be doing,
right, and
copying the tactics now that Dogwood is instituting nationwide.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a great thing that Beth's been doing.
Yeah, Beth's done awesome. And she also, I asked everybody if they had highlights for this year, and Beth said that her highlight of the year was that she got certified in technical SEO. So she's real pumped about that and very proud of it. And we're proud of her.
I think that's her second or third certification too that she's done too. And that's something that she's wanting to continue to do, is even though she may be the expert, but she realizes that the thing is always changing.
Right.
And that she wants to stay on top of it. She's always looking for additional certifications to make sure there's nothing happening out there that she's not missing. And I'm very proud of Beth. I mean,
absolutely.
It's been amazing. Beth, this will be also her 5th year too. So she started in August of 2019.
Yep.
So August of 2024, about 6 months after you, we'll be celebrating her 5th anniversary. We got a lot of big anniversaries this year,
we
too.
We do, and we'll talk all about that in next year's podcast.
You're like, Brian, stop talking about it. This is our normal relationship where she just says something like that and doesn't actually tell me to do anything. She just says it with her eyes, which y'all can't see, and the way she steers the conversation the other way. It's a great deal. This is why we work well together.
Exactly.
So websites, we've done a lot of websites this year.
Yeah.
And I think this number we have in here, I'm not sure if it's the correct number.
I'm not either. It's not super easy to keep up with all that, which next year, maybe that's one of my goals for 2024 is to do a better job of keeping up with stats of websites throughout the year.
Maybe we make like a board somewhere. And then literally as we finish a website, we stick it up on there just so we can keep up with it or something.
Yeah.
Or just even one of our glasses, or like we have outside of John's glass or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, this year we think we have put out about 27 websites.
Yep.
And there's a couple more that I think, fingers crossed, we can get out before the end of the year. So if we could get that number to like 29, 30, that would be awesome.
I can think of 3 right now that should be done by the end of this month. And that we should be able to have out. So that would put us at that 30 mark, like you're saying.
Yep.
And there's also some other projects that may have been smaller ones that we didn't necessarily count in this, that were either taking something that's already existed and just copying it to a new environment. And so we didn't include those, but those are actual brand new websites that didn't exist or had a total redesign, reconfiguration. And so we're averaging with 30, about 2.5 sites a month. And then we have 5 people that are working on that. So that's a pretty big deal. So
Yeah, well, and some of these are chonkers. I mean,
I know
we've put out some big sites this year.
I'm trying to think how big was the largest one we did? Was it over 1,000 pages? I'm trying to remember if there's been some bigger ones. I know we've done several 200-page ones. I know right now we have one that we're working on that's going to end up being over 200 pages.
Yeah, I remember when I first started paying attention to websites here, because obviously that wasn't my thing when I first got here. But when we talked about large websites, we were talking about 50
20, 30, 40, 50 pages.
Right, yeah. And now we're getting sitemaps back that have like 1,000 pages on them, and it's, oh goodness.
Yeah, but that's one that we have that we're working on right now that will finish in 2024. It's going to be the largest site, I believe, that we've ever built as in content.
Yeah.
And so that's a big project, but that'll be in the 2024 wrap up when we talk about how well that one went and about the other projects that one's going to be bringing in also too. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely proud of our guys. They've done a lot of work this year.
Yep. In our creative area, we've had about thousands of designs. We didn't even want to try and count it.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
We had the social posts, magazine layouts, banners. Lizzie's worked her tail off this year.
Yeah.
And has done an amazing job. She came in in July and literally hit the ground running from the very minute she came in. Nolene was a great help for her. One of our favorite deactivated users, as we affectionately call our folks that have moved on to go teach, as Nolene did. And she's actually teaching at one of our clients. And so she's teaching art over there. And so we were very happy for her. But that definitely left some more work for Lizzie to do in the design. And she has done a great job on that. And a variety of projects, too. That's one of the things I talked to her about, is that you don't have to be bored at Dogwood because there's not just one kind of thing she's working on. She'll go from a branding project for a regional corporation to working on a banner for the wrestling team at Holtville High School.
Yeah,
it's been that variety of type of things that we've done here. And she's done several other little projects here and there, but it's been really amazing to see how she's grown this year too. And she's still very young in her career, and I just can't wait to see her continue to grow.
Oh yeah, she's going to be great.
And then video wise, Mark has been with us for over a year now, almost a year and a half. And so he was fresh out of Alabama, had worked over there doing video work at Alabama, and has hit the ground running here. Had about 10 videos he did this year that were in the 3 to 5 minute range. So those are going to be like the corporate type videos. Actually, it's more than that, because I was just thinking about one client that we've done videos for every month. If we could go back and add those in.
Yeah, that's true. It is probably more than that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about individual clients.
Yeah, but like ongoing projects.
So he's probably closer to about 20 of those major length productions where he's done color correction. He's gone out and filmed doing lighting and putting microphones, carrying a full setup, and sometimes having to have another person to come in and help him with those. There's probably been closer to 20 of those different projects, and a bunch of other things still fill in the gaps too.
Right. Well, and there's so many projects, like those just mentioned the 3 to 5 minute videos, but there's so many that are a minute and under that we do throughout the year. I think about Makoa. That video was a large video, but then he just knocked out 3 smaller ones from that.
Yep. So that video, there was a 3 to 5 minute video that became 4 videos, and that happens on a regular basis too. And he did one for the Alabama Baptist Retirement Centers, which that was a very big production because he ended up traveling throughout the state, going to different locations and filming residents and employees and staff. And so he's had a great year. He's been busy. So.
Yeah, he really has. And I just love getting to see all the videos that we do of. Obviously we do things for all kinds of different clients, but our nonprofit clients and our local clients really have my heart with the things that we get to do. Getting to see those videos come through for Makoa and the Oaks that we're just finishing up, like those things are just so good.
And he's done a really good job telling those stories. And that's really Mark's thing. Like his strong point is the documentary style work where he's telling a story.
Right.
And he's done great for some of the football things he's done for those. That's not his specialty. He'll tell you that. He can do anything in video, but he loves telling those stories.
Right.
And he's actually taking a class right now that Dogwood's paying for him to go through. It's called The Art of Documentary. And he's going through and taking these classes on learning how to tell stories even better, because he knows, just like Beth we were talking about earlier, he wants to continue making his art better, and so he's looking for different ways to do that. In fact, in his own personal time this year, he shot a documentary in a day, and entered it into a local contest. And so even when he's not shooting for us, he's still perfecting his craft even outside of the office.
Oh yeah, and he's always meeting with other videographers that are local and learning from them,
and photographers
and just gaining knowledge from all the folks that have been doing this longer than he has.
He's built up a great relationship with multiple photographers here in town. Has done a good job in doing that. And I think about one of the guys that lives up my neighborhood. That's an older gentleman, and he's done a great job meeting with him and being willing to listen, which has turned into a great relationship. And there's been times that Mark's been able to call him and borrow a lens, or and just ask him different questions and stuff. And so that's huge. And I love seeing our younger staff like that reaching out to people that they can learn from in that way.
Well, and especially his relationship with Nick, who was here.
Yep.
That's a cool relationship, the kind of ongoing between a former employee and a new employee. So,
and Nick's always stayed close to here and has always been very helpful. But definitely Nick and Mark have had a great relationship, and they're very complimentary towards each other too, because they're not the same person at all.
Yeah.
And so it's really good seeing Nick being able to feed and give him information. And also, I really think Mark's able to help Nick at the same time too, because they don't have the same strong points, but they're able to learn from each other.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Well, moving from video, because I know Mark loves to hear us talk about him. That's his favorite part. But kind of going back to design, to the creative part of it, the branding projects we've done. My favorite one, and you noted it on here, that we did this year, was for the WMU Foundation.
Yeah, that one turned out so good.
And I love how we got to go through and implement it everywhere. And we've been able to go through, and we've redone pretty much every print thing that they've had for WMU Foundation that was still going to be left out there. We've gone through and touched everything and have brought them on brand.
Yeah, well, and I think it's a specifically unique situation when you're taking an organization that has been around as long as the WMU Foundation has and trying to rebrand. So how do you do that and hold on to who they are and who they have been while also pushing towards the future? And I just think that our team did an awesome job with that.
Well, and keeping them tied to their mother organization also, too. And so there's hints of all those different things. I love how it turned out. And I know we've got a couple other branding projects. I know there's one that I'm thinking we'll be able to finish up by the end of the year, too, that I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Yeah, that would be great to see it. And then we've had a couple other ones this year, too, and they've turned out great, too. Between Darlene and even Kristen and Lizzie, they've all done a great job doing all those things. So that's been a really fun thing for us. Well, that's kind of the service highlights I think we wanted to go through. We've had a couple company highlights also, too.
Yeah.
Some of these are fun. I had fun time putting these together. You even got you to laugh. But one of the biggest things we had happen has been our location.
Yeah, I mean, technically that happened last year, but I mean, we were only in it for, what, a month and a half?
6 weeks, yeah. And it was a hurry. We literally, when we pulled up in the parking lot on November the 15th, we had our U-Haul truck filled from the old location.
Oh, yeah.
And we got here, and the place wasn't ready.
Fun times.
Yeah, it was still dusty and dirty, and workers were still in here, and we were told it would be ready when we got here. It in fact was not, but that's okay. But we still just moved things in anyway. Yep. And then it kind of became a slow process of cleaning and getting things where they're supposed to be. That we did have a Christmas tree up last year.
Yeah, we did.
But I mean, that was a pretty big feat for us to at least get that done. But then it really wasn't. It didn't really feel like home until the beginning of this year when we had our kickoff party, when we had people come in here to our office in January, and then we had our big grand opening for the town of Pike Road. And I believe that was that in February?
I think it was in February. We did the ribbon cutting a little bit later.
It was originally scheduled for January, and then it got moved to February just with trying to get the right people here and everything for that. And that was fun, too, because that's when we got the giant scissors that don't actually cut ribbons. Which, by the way, this is not just a us thing. I've seen it in so many other places where people will buy these giant scissors and they don't cut the ribbon.
Yeah, well, don't think that Pike Road brought these scissors for Brian. Brian bought these scissors so that he would have big scissors.
I wanted to make sure he had big scissors. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to take these big scissors and use them other places. And then it failed. And they're like, hey, you can just hold on to this big scissors. Yeah. I was like, thanks, Katie.
Maybe there's a reason that they don't use big scissors.
It's okay, but it was still fun. And so we've had a lot of fun with that. We got all of our TVs hung. We got some branding done around the office, some art decorations. We've probably reconfigured the office at least 5 times.
Yeah, that's just par for the course.
It's a sport for us at Dogwood. Is every time we hire a new employee, is we have to figure out where the desk is going to go and how it's going to change the office configuration.
I think our current setup might be our longest standing setup.
I moved it myself. Do you remember? Because y'all went away and y'all came back one weekend and I'd moved everything. Because originally we'd had the area towards the very end over here where the TV is at on the wall. We had the little computer desk and all that set up. But that might have been back in March or April.
Yeah, I think probably when John decided to take the L desk is the last time that it had like a major.
That was probably May then, somewhere around there, maybe May, June.
It was a little later than that, wasn't it?
Was it in June? Or I don't remember, but he took the L desk out of there and put it in his office, and then I shifted everything where the desk lined up at the windows. So I wanted everyone to have a fair shot at getting a look out the windows.
Right, that was like number one reason why I was excited for this new office was all the sunlight.
Well, and like we've had it now where all 3 of those desks now at each window, like there's 6 people that are sitting by the windows now because it lines up that way. And there's still plenty of room. We'll be able to add in more desks eventually because we're not done growing. No. I don't see any reason to stop as long as we continue to get offered the chance to do more of the services we talked about earlier. We'll keep adding people in here. I haven't found that point yet. People have asked me that, like, well, when are y'all going to stop growing? Like, when are you going to level off? And I'm like, the work hasn't leveled off, so why should we? Yeah. I mean, let's keep growing. I like the idea. Let's see how big we can get this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's an equilibrium point at some point that, you know.
I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is either, but maybe not stop, but just not as steep of a.
Well, I'd say we didn't add as many people this year. We did have a bunch of new hires, and we did create 2 new positions this year. With Steve coming in as our director of client relations,
right?
And that was a big hire, bringing Steve in because he brought a wealth of experience, which was a big thing. You know, we needed some more experience around the office.
Yeah, well, and just his connections out in the community. I mean, he's done such a good job of getting out there and going to all the meetings, meeting all the people, just figuring out who we can partner with and how we can help people, and it's great.
And that's always been one of those positions I really wanted to have here for us. But I knew we had to be in the right place for it to happen, and it had to be the right person.
Yeah.
And so when I found out that Steve was available to come and possibly join our staff, that's when I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, this is what I'm imagining. And he's really grasped it and done a pretty good job, I would say.
Yeah.
I forgot about this, too, but Mr. Bob actually started with us this year, too.
Was that really this year?
Yep, he started in February.
Wow.
And so Mr. Bob, for most people, we call Mr. Bob in our office. He's
that was on his birthday post. It's Mr. Bob.
He is Mr. Bob in our office because he's done an amazing job of not rubbing it in that he is my dad.
Right.
So, and he definitely got the job because he's my dad, because I love my dad, and I wanted to be able to have my dad working at the company that I own. And that was always my dream, is that one day I'd have my own company and I'd be able to bring him on when he's retired. And he loves doing this because he wants to be a helper, so that's what fits him really well in the role he is in, because he's there to help me. He's there to help everyone else in the office that needs things. So, I mean, I can think of examples. Lauren, this week, he's like, I need some stamps. And Mr. Rob's like, how many do you need? And he goes out and gets stamps so that Lauren doesn't have to stop doing the work she's doing to go get stamps.
Yeah, not only got stamps, but then got all the stamps at the Pike Road branch, and then had to go to another branch to get the rest of the stamps that I needed.
Imagine the amount of time that would have taken you from being able to help our clients. So by having him available to do that, he helps me by basically doing a lot of our collection work, sending out invoices, going in any checks that come in, he's putting them in. And that's been a huge help for me because that's an administrative task that's not a profitable one. So he's been doing that. Any kind of errands.
Most importantly, keeping the fridge stocked.
He does. He does our Costco runs every other week, and he's very good about making sure that everyone stays within the rules of the Costco list. I did put in there this past week. I don't know if he told you this. I don't think he understood that I'd pulled it from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when Clark sends Eddie down to, or Eddie's. God, I can't remember the scene. Clark gave Eddie money. Eddie went to Walmart with Clark, and he said, "Hey, Clark, why don't you buy yourself something nice?" And gave Clark his own money to buy his own gift.
Yeah.
And so this past week, I put on the list.
Buy yourself something nice?
I did. I put on there, buy yourself something nice.
Did he get something nice?
He said he saw it and laughed, and he said, "I almost picked up a new TV."
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you say
I know
things like
Mr.
that,
Bob
Brian.
might have gotten a new TV out for himself.
Honestly.
And I do call him Mr. Bob too, just 'cause that's what everyone else calls him here in the office. I promise that when we're at home, he's my dad.
He's not Mr. Bob
No,
at home.
I've actually done that before, referring him, but I'm referring to like something that happened at work.
Yeah.
But I have to be careful. But he is still my dad. So.
Yep.
And like I said, I do love my dad, and so
He's great.
I love having him here. Krista was a brand new position too. We just brought on the beginning of December, and so she came in just to be a social media coordinator. Which we talked about this. You and I talked about this position for like 4 years.
Yeah.
About the need to specialize and have people who are more account managers, or in this case, we call them marketing strategists because they're doing the strategy behind the marketing of each of our clients, and now bringing the specialists that can focus in on just doing social media.
Yeah.
And
I'm real excited about this position. I just think it is the next step in the evolution of how we do things.
And I think it's what we're going to see ourselves doing more of as we continue to go, is that, we'll still keep adding in strategists that are going to be over specific areas. Elizabeth right now is focused in on one of our nonprofits, and she's also helping with Dogwood. And then you got Jessica, who's really helping out for a lot of our nonprofits also too. And she's picked up a couple of our commercial clients, or Elizabeth has done more of the event clients. And then Becca's doing basically all of our church clients and religious clients. And so I'm hoping that as we continue to bring in more marketing strategists, they'll be focused on a certain category of things, and then be able to have our social media person like Krista to be able to focus just on social media and making sure we're actually doing the social parts of social media. Whereas we got Beth, who's focused in just on SEO. Our next one, I really like to bring someone in to do advertising that's specifically just for doing all of our ads. And it can be writing ads, placing ads, buying ads, and eventually that will probably divide out more as we continue to grow. But having those strategies that are specifically tied to one category of work that we've done, and then having those individuals. And so Chris is really other than Beth being here for SEO, Chris is really that first person to get a specific category like this to focus on. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that evolves. And I mentioned Jessica. She was also one of our new employees that came in this year. She's done an amazing job.
Yeah, she's great.
And we knew Jessica beforehand because she actually worked for one of our clients. And so that was it's always a great way to learn people. And then, of course, that client changed a lot of different things. They were it was a education, and they were changing up how their school worked, and so there's going to be a lot of people laid off. And so it was a great opportunity to be able to grab her. I don't want people to think that we go to our clients and try to steal their people. That's not the thing. In this case, they were laying off a bunch of people, and it was an opportunity where we could grab Jessica and bring her in here. Because that was there wasn't going to be a position for her, and so it was a great opportunity for us to get her. And she's done a great job. She's fit in really well here, and has done a great job of her clients. And she seems very happy. Yeah, I like her husband Trey too.
Yeah, your new best friend.
He is. Yeah, we like to. I told you about time I cut his hair, right?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
I used my giant scissors
Well,
that we
I'm
talked
glad
about.
they can cut something.
They did. They cut his hair. It was great. I didn't cut all his hair. It's just a little bit. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. Another thing I was thinking about, that as I was telling everybody else to give highlights, I didn't even think about it, but this is the first year that I've been director of operations.
It is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because you've changed roles. You've evolved as Dogwood has evolved. Let's be honest. I mean, because you kind of came in basically focused as a digital marketing specialist. Yeah. And then you became a
senior digital marketing specialist or strategist, whatever we called him at that point. And then manager of social, whatever we called it, social
media manager,
something like that.
Digital I don't know. It was something like that, but you were managing that group at that point versus being the senior.
Yep. And then unofficially project manager and then officially.
Yeah. We had to do both jobs for a little bit
Yeah.
while we were figuring out how we are going to move people around, because I wasn't sure if I was going to hire someone. And then you made it very clear that you wanted the position.
Yeah.
And because it was a change and you wanted a new challenge. And so that's a great thing that we've been able to do here. And we always look for things like that. I'm not opposed ever to moving people around in the office. We want to make sure they're in positions that are the best fit for them. In this case, you're kind of a jack of all trades at this point, where you've done website building and know a lot about it. You've done the social media part. You've led that group, and you've even been able, like right now, where we don't have a creative director, to step in that role.
Right.
Not as a creative director, but just to help them manage the flow of work that's going through that.
Yeah,
And so,
I can't tell them how to do something, but I can look at something and tell them whether it's good or not. So
right, and that's a big help, And right now it's fitting that role while we don't have that position, and so maybe one day we'll find the right person for that. It's one of those things with creative director. It's such a specific role, that I'm not in a rush to get it. Like
better to wait for the right person for sure.
It is. I want to make sure we've got the right person that fits in that role. We've had a lot of people talk to us about wanting to be in that role, and we'll figure it out when we're ready, when the right person comes in that literally has the experience that we need to help both Lizzie and to help Mark also too, as they kind of continue to grow in their creative parts.
Right.
And we have some great contractors also too in that area.
Yeah.
Kwame has done an amazing job this year. He's not officially part of our team at Dogwood, but he feels like he's part of it.
Yeah, he might as well be.
It's very close. I'm looking forward to the day when we can bring him in. There's definitely some things that Kwame is working on too, because he's doing his own little thing also. But he's done a great job helping us with Pike Road football this year and some other projects too. And while he's not, like I said, an official part, he is very much part of our team. He'll be at the Christmas party that we'll have, and so. He's around the office. It feels like at least once a week, and going out and visiting clients and doing shoots. And so hopefully one day when I'll go ahead and say Kwame wants to be a football player. And so, and one of the things I told him is I don't want to get between him and his dreams of doing that.
Right.
And so I feel like offering him a position at this point with Dogwood would slow him down from his dreams. And so right now he's still be able to be the free agent. He's available to go out to tryouts. He's able to work out. And then he does work for us that fits our schedule and fits his schedule at the same time too. So it's really like my best combination for him. But one day, when the time comes and he says, I don't want to do football anymore, I'm ready to go video full time, we'll have him on staff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to that.
For
But
sure.
I want him to give up his dreams. Let's keep it that clear.
In case you're listening, Kwame, go do football.
Live your life, follow your dreams, and know that we're rooting for you and looking forward to the day that when things change, you're hanging out with us more often. So how about that? Does
There
that sound
we go.
better?
That works.
Well, and then Elizabeth came in to lead our team this year too for the marketing strategist, and she brought a wealth of experience of her.
Yeah.
Almost 12 years experience, and I know that they've received her very well into the team, and she's done a great job just helping, especially with Instagram is a big thing that she was really big at. I think she's going to be really helpful for Krista too as she continues to grow in those areas. Cody came in in our web development team.
Yeah.
He's on our remote team, so we don't get to see him all the time, but he's done a
Right.
great job interacting with everyone on Slack.
And he also gave Beth some friends up in
Yes.
Florence. So
and
we
Beth-
didn't hire him because of that, but it does help that he's in Florence.
It was one of those things that when we got his resume, oh look, this guy's in Florence. That's an extra bonus point.
For sure.
And Brett came into this year, which is hard to believe because it feels like Brett's been here with us forever.
Yeah. Well, it was January when he came in, so he's been
That's
here for almost
crazy.
a year.
Wow. Yeah, but he's about to graduate too from college.
know,
he's
so
going to
proud.
be a college graduate. And then we mentioned Lizzie earlier too, and she came in this summer, and she actually came in and did some contract work for us in the beginning, and then became a full-time employee towards the end of July, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
And she's done a great job, like we talked about earlier. Is just has fit in really well here on the team. Looking like through the rest of the year, we've had some really fun things too. We've done.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that you've always talked about from the beginning is wanting everybody to, we don't have to be best friends, but we all want to enjoy being around one another. And I think this year we've done a lot of that. I mean, we did a trivia night that was super fun.
It was.
That Slayton
Yes.
Slayton ran. If you want to hear a funny story, next time you see me out and about, ask about trivia night with Slayton, and I will tell you all about it. But so that was super fun. We had Family Feud, and that was completely a Mark idea that I think he saw somebody else do it online.
I don't know. He went all out. He had the mustache and the jacket and everything. We played the Family Feud music and stuff, and it was a fun night that we all had together.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. And then, of course, we have our Christmas party coming up.
Yep, and we'll have a good time there, too. Yep. We've got some traditions that we've brought in for the Christmas party, and that we'll continue this year. And
how crazy that we're old enough to have traditions.
I know. How many years? Is this 5 years?
This is 5.
This is 5. I mean, because it's the 5th anniversary, so of course it's 5. And we've done, even during the COVID year, we did a little bit more subtle Christmas party that year, but we still did a Christmas party.
We did.
But all the rest of them, this would be the 5th one in a row now. And so it's going to be a lot of fun having that. That's always a good time to get together and do that. I guess that wasn't this year. That was last year. I was going to say when everyone came over to help me move. That was just a fun gathering then, too. But I'm sure
that was technically last year, but it was a good time. We played dominoes. It was a good time.
Yep. Another thing that happens around here, and I don't get to participate in it.
You don't get to. You just don't choose to.
I choose not to participate in it, and I'll explain, is the walks. So there's like this secret walk that y'all do.
They're not secret.
It's secret from me because I haven't participated in it, but by choice. And the reason why I don't go on it is because I feel like, one, I have a really bad knee.
Yeah.
And I would just be limping. And that's a whole nother issue I've dealt with this entire year is my whole limp and looking like a pirate and everything else. But also, it's y'all's time to not have to be able to have me there.
Right.
And so y'all can go out there and talk and know that it's not like the owner guy listening in on your personal problems, because you need friends at work that you can talk to and not have to worry about it going further than that. And so the break time is kind of like y'all's time to do that.
Yeah.
And so
well, it kind of started because when we were downtown, we would just go to Prevail. And that was the easy, just walk across the street, go get a cup of coffee, take a break, come back. But we don't have a Prevail at this new location.
Yep.
We have a Circle K.
A gas station. Yes.
So, yeah.
Who would ever thought that would have been a gas station down there when we looked at this lot?
Yeah.
I didn't. I promise you. But
yeah. I mean, it's nice during the summer because we can go in and get, slushies or drinks.
They have medium-sized bags of Reese's Pieces also, which is always amazing when y'all bring those back for me.
Right.
Because I love a good Dr. Pepper and some Reese's Pieces every once in a while.
Yeah.
That is my weakness.
About twice a day we go walk down there.
And so we estimate it, and this is just a rough estimate. It's about 70 miles of walks y'all have done this year.
Sure.
Somewhere around there. Because it's probably like a quarter mile or something like that.
Probably. So, we probably walk half, I don't know.
If you did it twice a day, it's half a mile a day.
Yeah.
Y'all don't get to do it every day because some days it's raining. And right now, while it's been really cold, y'all haven't walked as much. Y'all still walking, but maybe not twice a day. So you can set somewhere between 70 and 100 miles y'all probably walked, which is good. I mean, it's a good thing to get outside of the office and have the freedom to go exercise and do some walking. And then, of course, while y'all walk, I'll be sitting in here, not walking with y'all, and I'll hear boom. And that's the sound of the Frisbee hitting the windows on the side of the building.
Okay, the Frisbee doesn't hit the window nearly as much as it used to. We've all gotten better. And we also encourage people, Slayton, not to throw towards the building.
Yeah, well, Slayton has no aim, no athletic skill whatsoever.
He has athletic skill.
Whatever.
Be nice to Slayton.
Have you seen his cartwheels? Come on.
Okay, well... The cartwheels are...
Have you seen him throw the football? Because y'all have also added 2 footballs in there, too.
Yes, there are now 2 footballs.
I watched him yesterday, and that boy's throwing some ducks out there.
Well, go teach him, Brian.
I know. I'm not his dad. His dad can do that for him.
Yeah, one of the Frisbees got lost on the roof, and it recently got brought down. There was some work getting done on the roof, and so they found the Frisbee and brought it back. And the Frisbee used to be a Captain America shield, and now it's just an oddly shaped white Frisbee.
Yep, and it probably will explode in a million pieces from how dried out it got.
Oh, yeah. I'm concerned about it.
Y'all have another one, though, y'all throw, though.
We do. We got new ones.
So you got two or 3 Frisbees and a couple of footballs, and it's just good exercise, and everyone gets out there, too. I still want to get some, yard things to put out there. I really love cornhole. I wiped up some people on some cornhole a couple weeks ago, won every game. And so, I want to go out there and show y'all how good I am at cornhole at some point. But we've been kind of busy.
Yeah.
And to the point where I'm afraid if I bring cornhole up here, it's going to really distract me and mean I have to stay later at work.
Yeah.
And so, there has to be that balance between, fun, and also like I don't want to live here.
Yeah, I think maybe in spring or summer we need to like one of our Dogwood hangouts needs to be somebody bring a grill, and after work we all hang out and grill and play games in the green space, and that can be one of our get-togethers.
I've talked about just putting a grill out here for people to be able to use to cook at lunch, because you can go cook some hamburgers or some hot dogs or some chicken at lunch, and that would be really nice to have out here. The problem is we don't have anywhere to store it, and so I don't want it to leave. So if I can figure a way to secure a grill here where I don't have to worry about it being gone, that I would love to do it. And I just don't want to roll it inside either.
Right, yeah.
Which would probably be fine if I did, but I don't know. We'll figure it out some
Get like
point.
a little green egg or something and like...
Yeah, you just have to leave it out there while it cools, but like cook at lunch and then bring it in at the end of the day or something like that. But, I don't know. It would be fun to do that, but we like to mix a lot of fun here at the office because we are together so much.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here 45 hours a week. So that means 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5:30, whatever that time frame is. Sometimes we do a little bit extra hours. Sometimes we do a little less. It just really depends on the workload. But we want to make sure that there's a balance still here, whether it be the walking or eating together or playing, but still getting all of our work done and getting it done correctly and to the best of our ability too.
Yep.
And one of the things that we've done, this is the last thing, and then we'll wrap up the podcast because I know this one's gone really long today. Every once in a while, we love getting to have some of our dogs come in.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's always, Rocky has been the one who's visited us the most to the point where he has a title now, which is the Director of Staff Happiness. And we've talked about putting him on the website. Just, we haven't done it yet. We may still do it one day. I don't know. I'm still got to think about it because
he'd be really cute.
He is very cute, and people I think would love it because also, I mean, we are Dogwood, but we're not Dogwood. I mean, we are Dogwood, but we're not named after like dogs or anything like that. It's named after the tree. The tree is actually what the name comes from, which is therefore the icon. But as a joke, we could put Dogwood and put Rocky's face as the icon, like on like National Dog Day.
Yeah,
That'd actually be really
we
funny.
usually do that post like on National Dog Day, the dogs of Dogwood.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a new rendition for this year.
Yeah, we'll just put like a little Rocky drawing on there or something like that.
Yeah, poor Kylo's gotten put on the back burner. He doesn't get to come to the office anymore.
Kylo's not the most friendly dog.
He loves me.
Kylo's my dog, and he's a Shih Tzu. And we were talking about our dogs last night, and each one of our dogs has a very unique personality. Ollie lives to make everyone happy. Like that's his. He wants to make sure everyone's happy, everyone's having fun, he's having fun. Ginger wants to be loved. Then she's our yellow lab. She just wants to know you love her, and that's her main thing. And so she's not really worried about you being happy. She just wants you to come sit and just pet her and make sure you know that she's still there and that she loves you, but she just wants you to love her, and then she's fine. Kylo just wants to be comfortable. Kylo doesn't care if you love him. He doesn't care if he loves you. He just wants to be in a comfortable space. And so this dog will find the cleanest clothes and lay on the top of that pile and will sleep so nicely. He sleeps on top of the couch, not like in the couch cushions, but on top of the couch so he can see everyone. He doesn't have to sleep with anyone. He just wants to be on top of a mattress. So he doesn't care which one. He doesn't need to be now. He likes to get petted, don't get me wrong, because he's a dog. But that's not his top priority. His top priority is comfort.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing comfortable about coming to the office except for the bed that I have in my office. He'll go and sit on it. But there's so many other things that distract from his comfort that he ends up being quite the turd when he comes home at night.
He perches on top of my desk, and it's great.
He's a desk dog. He does like that. But but even there, he's looking for comfort. And I think he likes your desk because he can see out the window.
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's absolutely what it is.
Because he's looking out there watching to make sure nothing's going to come get him.
Yeah, he's learned that I will coddle him. And so that's why he likes me.
Right.
He comes to me and I pick him up and carry him around.
Right, you've created comfort for him because also one of the things he doesn't like doing is walking.
Yeah.
And if he can find someone that will carry him wherever he wants them to go, why should he walk?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Chase would absolutely hate to see me with Kylo. Chase is a dog trainer. If you don't know that, Chase is my husband.
Well, Kylo has trained us. He is also a dog trainer.
a people trainer.
People trainer on how to carry dogs.
Yeah.
And he has specific ways he likes to be carried.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Kylo doesn't come here to the office very much anymore. He will. I actually talked about bringing him up here at some point, but I thought about tomorrow even, but I'm not going to. But Because we already got one coming tomorrow.
I'm just going to go pick him up from your house one day and bring him.
That's fine. You'll see him on at the Christmas party, and you
Yep.
can just hold him the whole time.
There you go.
He'll love it.
Perfect.
But we're going to wrap it up with that because we have given out so much random information and like did the whole review this year that if you stuck around for that whole podcast, you are a true fan of Dogwood at this point.
Honestly.
So, all right. Well, thanks for joining here today.
Yeah, it's been a good one. We're ready to do a whole nother season next year.
Yep. And you can end it with your famous saying that you made that I stole from you and used.
Well, everybody, until next time, happy marketing.